Cha Win is the founder and the executive director of the Burma Human Rights Network. He joins me now live from London. Cha, good to have you on the show. How much do you think that this hate speech has played a role in the genocide against the Rohingya? I'm calling it genocide just because 24 hours ago, the U.S. administration also recognized it as such.
Of course, thank you so much for having me today. It is definitely a genocide. There is no doubt. And not only US, UN fact-finding mission also call it a genocide. And in regarding the hate speech, it's a very good coincidence that on Saturday we are going to launch a report on hate speech, particularly happened last year. We, BHR and Burma Human Rights Network, have a dedicated team that following and monitoring on hate speech in Burma. So that means that monitoring team is monitoring on social media, print media, all kind of media, like radios, TV channels, so all we are monitoring on. And even in some area we we have a ground team on the ground that monitoring on the hate speech as well. So we collect all the data, and every month we share our data with our relevant parties and partners. So we have concrete and solid information that how the information, the hate speech has been spreading in Burma. So our monitoring started since 2012. So we have been continuously working on this. So we have a piles of tons of information, regarding data on hate speech.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to sort of bring your attention to sort of how Facebook entered the market in Myanmar, because for pretty much most citizens of Myanmar, Facebook actually means the internet. And when you look at it from that perspective, this must have tremendous reach, and is especially dangerous for groups like the Rohingya then.
And you see that during 2012 and 2013, anti-Muslim hate speech was at its highest peak. It was very dangerously spreading across Facebook and social media. And of course, Facebook was one of the very significant and major tool that spread, that been used to spread the hate speech. So later on, the Facebook start changing and updating and doing a lot of things. But we know that even in 2020, during election, Facebook has reached us out. For every week, we attend the meeting with the Facebook and we share the data. They also share what they have been doing. And they have been working very, very effectively. But also, at some point, we have some concern from Facebook as well, right? Some Burma team, especially the Burma team, those who are personally, individually that anti-Muslim or sometimes they don't like people who are countering hate speech.
Mm-hmm.
So I have many friends whose account has been blocked and suspended, but not because they are spreading hate speech, they are actually countering the hate speech, right? So their account has been many times has been punished for countering that. So we also reach out, we explain that to Facebook, but sometimes maybe I don't know, maybe it is there is a technical difficulties for them, or what is the reason, we are not sure. But hate speech, of course, it has been used for Facebook, and that tool, that the platform has been effectively used by the ultra-nationalist group in Burma.
Cha, I mean, there are actually two separate sides to this argument. There are paid advertisements and there's unpaid content. At the center of this argument is 8 particular paid ads submitted by this human rights group. Do you find it a bit worrisome that Facebook has approved these paid ads that were filled with hate speech and incitement to violence, given the fact that paid ads should perhaps be held to a higher standard when compared to unpaid content?
But I don't have that view, honestly, because what I see is anything is toxic is a toxic, whether it's paid or unpaid. Because when you're spreading hate speech on the Facebook, whether it's paid or not, the effect is the same, right? The people who are vulnerable are going to suffer. So all kinds of hate speech, whatever it's paid or unpaid, that must be prohibited here.
Okay. Cha Win, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. I do appreciate the analysis.
Thank you very much.